Morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. It is another episode of Rapid Fire Friday. And yes, I'm a little tardy today. I was ready to go at 10 o'clock, but I realized that I did not even create the event for it. So you may have noticed within the community, I just repeated the event for several months to come, as I really truly enjoy these weekly episodes. Rapid Fire Friday. So thank you for your patience. And for those of you that are new to the community, I want to welcome you. Thank you so much for your expressed interest in this group. My name is Annette Conrad. As you may know, I am the lead creative and owner of Edible Impressions, a company I founded more than 17 years ago as a hobby. And I thank my founding members for listening to me repeat that time and time again. But I just want to make sure that folks know who their admin is in the group. And I just want to let you know that I truly enjoy sharing my love and passion for all things decorated cookies. But honestly, I created this group because I started my business from a hobby. So for many of you that are just starting off, or you're pondering taking your side gig or hobby to either a business to be able to increase some cash flow, or if you're taking the leap from maybe your professional position or career and branching off on your own, I just want to tell you that that's what I did. I started my nationwide profitable business, cookie business. We're talking hand decorated cookies from a hobby. So I just want to be here as proof to you that it is possible. I love sharing my events planning background and all things about how you can transform that hobby into a business if you're interested. And we're just having a good time in the group too, just talking about techniques for decorating as well. So thank you so much. I want to get going on Rapid Fire Friday. For those of you that are familiar with it, I will go through 5 questions, wonderments, or scenarios from the last week that I found interesting, and I will answer those in rapid fire format. I will ring the bell after every question, and then I will remind you of any upcoming events. So let's start off with the first question. And thank you for those that are joining live. I really appreciate those that are watching the replay. So if you are watching replay, please put a comment down in the feed, and any questions that you pose, I will come in post-event and answer those for you if you'd like to go a little deeper on any of these conversations. Okay, so the first one is, has anyone experienced royal icing that has gone bad? Does it actually grow mold? I forgot to put mine in the fridge last night, but it seems fine. So that's a great question about royal icing. So if you're wondering the shelf life of the royal icing, that is a really good question to pose into the community. And it was interesting because there are a number of different takes on this. But just to let you know, I always like to go right to the facts of the actual product. And so royal icing most often is made from meringue powder, which will have some preservatives in there. So you're fine to keep that frosting. It does not need to be refrigerated, and really up to a week. And you could probably leave it out on the countertop a little bit longer. But what happens is when that royal icing is left on the shelf or in room temperature, the water will start to separate. So it's not that you can't use it, but as the days go by, it's going to be more difficult to remix. And eventually it's going to start to get a little gummy on the bottom. And you really want to, I think, toss it at that point for sure. If you're not able to mix it, if it feels really liquidy, I think you've just lost the consistency and some of the oomph that you need from that meringue powder. And I know that from experience because I had some frosting just recently in a small container that I thought was still okay, but I noticed that it separated quite a bit. I remixed it as much as I could, but when I went to make my ribbons, it was fascinating. It never dried. So it became very soft. It never really dried thoroughly. So I tossed it, started over, and it was perfect. So, but just know that you can also store your frosting in the freezer to up to 6 months easily, maybe even longer, but it's recommended 6 months. And then you always want to keep your meringue powder, if you haven't used it yet, your actual meringue powder, that can stay for easily 2 years. So just keep it in a nice, cool, dry place. One of the things before I move on to the next question was there are certainly folks that are making their meringue powder from egg whites and not a powdered meringue. So if you are doing that, I noticed that some of the folks that were chiming in recommended to add a little bit of lemon juice. Now, I don't have experience with making royal icing from egg whites. I don't, because I understand that once you do that, you need to refrigerate the cookies. I would think you'd want to. I don't know if you have to, but I think you would want to if they're made with egg whites, much like other bakes. They probably keep for a short while on the counter. And so I think that's probably enough on that first question, but really interesting. And I wanted to throw that one out there. So here's another one. I flooded a bunch of cookies with royal icing, never had trouble with it drying, but this last batch, it remained super sticky. She's going on 2 days now of it not drying. She put a fan on it, still nothing. What can she do to dry these the rest of the way? She does not have a dehydrator. She needs them by the morning because she wants to airbrush them. And I think, yeah, so she just was wanting to put them in bags too, but they're way too sticky. So my first thought when I saw this was, what is the temperature in your workspace? Believe it or not, the temperature in your workspace has a lot to do with whether or not your cookies are going to dry. So she's onto something when she said the dehydrator. In my space, it's relatively small, and I'm here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So in the winters, it can be really dry, and in the summers, it can be pretty moist. And this might be a topic that I talked about recently, but I think it's worth bringing it up again because we are now in the summer months for most of us in the nation here. So the temperature does have a lot to do with it. So what we do is we have a humidifier and a dehumidifier. So depending on the season, one or the other is running. And then to supplement the dehumidifier, where you're pulling the moisture out of the air, I have an air conditioner running. So it's super cool up in my shop, especially when I have the ovens on. I have 2 ovens that are 4 racks each. So 8 racks that are running. It can get pretty warm up there. So it's super, super critical to have airflow in the room and keep that at a nice cool temperature. And that will help drying your cookies. So believe me, another cause for the royal icing, and there are probably a couple, but I'll focus on one more, is possibly over mixing. If you over mix that frosting, it can get a little bit more marshmallowy and a little bit fluffier, and it will get sticky, and it will take a lot more time to dry. So I've also had that experience, and I know that a few people chimed in with that. Now, don't worry, I know that mixing royal icing and coloring royal icing has been a huge interest for a lot of people. And that's a topic I'm going to be covering in an upcoming Facebook class. So mark your calendars. I will create an event for it, but June 29th, I'm going to talk about how to make royal icing, or at least how we make royal icing, and also about mixing colors. So there's been some frustration and some challenges about making different colors. So that will be the next masterclass. So to stay tuned for. Okay, here's another one. What is a smart method for organizing cookie cutters? I have 50 plus cookie cutters, and I'm having a hard time finding the one I need. What are your thoughts? Do you organize by the season? Do you organize by the size? Maybe by the shape? Well, again, a lot of people chimed in, and there's a lot of different ways you can organize your cookie cutters. And I guess it depends on the quantity, but it also depends on your space. You know, where are you storing these? How many you have? How big are those cutters? That does make a difference because, you know, mini ones will take up a lot less space than your, 3.5 to 4 to 5 inch cookie cutters. Here at Edible Impressions, as many of you know, or maybe you've seen because of my gallery, we have literally thousands of cookie cutters, thousands. About 5-6 years ago is when we started making our own. Now we don't sell our cookie cutters, but you can imagine as soon as we started making our own, I mean, my livelihood, my business is custom design. So we make a lot of them for our clients, specifically for their order. I have a lot of cookie cutters. And so the way that we organize our cookie cutters is by a numbering system. So I have large bins. Inside those bins are Ziploc bags, and there are multiple cookie cutters in those Ziploc bags. And they don't always match. They're not always the same season. They're not always the same size. But I've got a numbering system and using keywords. So I have a software you can just use iPhoto, if you will. You put in keywords, take a picture, put in a keyword for those, number the bags, number the bins, and then in a flash, you can go up to the computer and you can just type in that theme, that word, and then boom, that cookie cutter comes up, and then I know exactly what bin to go to. So I'm having a little deja vu. So I've already talked about this topic. I apologize, but I think it was worth mentioning. As your business is growing, no doubt your cookie cutter inventory will grow as well. So it's good to start from the beginning and having a system in place so that you don't spend too much time looking for cookie cutters. So, and then there's other ways. Certainly you can use wall racks, you can use drawers, cabinets. So again, it all just really depends on your space availability. All right. Well, thank you so much for those that are here watching. There's a couple of us here live. I appreciate you being here, and thanks for watching the replay. And if you're enjoying this Rapid Fire Friday, please go into the events tab. You can watch the previous ones that I've had. So whenever I do a Facebook Live, it's always recorded and available on a replay. Okay, so let's see what the next one is. Oh, okay. How do you guys market yourself? Now, this is a very much of a loaded question. So this is the topic I could talk about for a long time, but I'm just going to kind of narrow it in here. So I really just want to maybe direct you to the most recent Facebook masterclass that I did just this past Wednesday. It was Social Media Insights Tips, How to Eliminate Confusion. And please understand, these are my insights. I didn't do data research and all that and give you statistics about social media. I mean, it's no doubt social media is extremely popular. It's a great way for you to be able to market your business and get leads and make sales. But I just wanted to let you know that, that is not the only thing or the thing you have to do to get those leads and make sales. But that's a really good one to watch. And, but I truly believe that your existing customers and referrals are a fantastic way to market your business. So there are many, many, many ways. I think I've come up with about 50 different ways. And so watch another replay, which is called 5 Ways to Increase Your Visibility. So I talk about some of those things like creating a website, investing in networking. And a lot of these are free, leveraging free resources, focusing on exceptional client experiences, and then rinse and repeat. So those are just a couple of the golden nuggets you can find. But that one was March 30th. So definitely worth going back to and listening. So again, how do you market your business is really a loaded, I could do a full day workshop just on that. But I think those 2 Facebook lives will give you 2 different perspectives on that topic. All right. Thank you so much. I'll take a break here just to say hello, Alma. Thank you so much for joining. And Melinda, appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. And so let's see. The last question is, I just wanted to take a moment, and it's a wonderment for myself. I've been doing these Facebook Lives. I've been doing the Rapid Fire Friday. I've been offering my services via the community, but I guess I just want to know, what is it that you need? I mean, truly need for you personally, where you are in your journey. So I know sometimes in the community, it can be more of a general response. And so I'm open to understanding and learning about what some of the services that you may want me to go deeper on. I'm not opposed to doing one-on-one consulting where I visit with you, just with you. We talk about your business or your hobby and give you some advice and some direction. Not opposed. I'm actually very excited to start doing in-person classes. So if in-person classes is something that you are interested in and you're nearby, stay tuned. I will be renovating my secondary kitchen that is in my licensed property. That's where I plan to do my classes. So it's going to be absolutely beautiful. So that's another way. There's also free form or teaching. And then, are there products? I'm not sure at this point that I want to get into offering a product, but what are your product needs? Is there something that while you've been in the community that you see that it is something that maybe I can offer you? So I'm just really interested in knowing, what your struggles are, what your frustrations are, what your needs are right now for you to be able to keep moving forward. So just keep moving forward. So I will, just to go deeper on this particular wonderment, I will start a poll, and I'll keep that poll open for a little bit allow you to be able to kind of think about it. And, but I just want to make sure that I'm continuing to offer you value and, again, share my knowledge and expertise. So, I've got more than 24 years of events planning experience and 17 years of managing my small business. I did start as a solo entrepreneur, but I do now have a team, and I really do appreciate them. And I know there are many of you out there that would like to kind of do what I did with my business. So thank you, Melinda. I am in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, I always say it's a small space. Our production space is relatively small, but we are experts in high volume, and we do ship nationwide. So my business is state licensed. We do not follow the food cottage laws for the state. We are state licensed, and so we do have a semi-annual inspection. And our space is commercial kitchen is dedicated to the business. So I do not work out of my home kitchen. So just to clarify that for some folks, and you may not be at that point, you may not have that luxury, but you can still run a very profitable business under the food cottage laws. But at some point you will need to take it to the next level because I know there are some restrictions in terms of profit and being able to ship. So, and that is state by state. So, okay. So that is it for the 5 questions. Just to let you know, I'm super excited about the next Facebook Live, which will be on Wednesday, the 15th. We're going to be doing royal icing flowers. So talk about the decorative tips and techniques. This is actually follow-up from this past Sunday's Facebook Live, which was really fun. What I did along with my sister Sylvia, it was so fun. We painted with Sugar Prism products. So if you're not familiar, I would encourage you to go to sugarprism.com. She has these wonderful edible paints. And so Sundays was kind of a bonus Facebook Live, but there were a lot of people that asked, how did I make those royal icing flower cookies? So I'm going to show that to you on Wednesday. And then again, the social media insights and tips was on June 8th. And then that 5 ways to increase your visibility, that was from March 30th. Really, those are 2 really good ones to go back to that are related to my Rapid Fire Friday today. So thank you so much. All the lives on Wednesday will be at 6:30 Central. And I stay on anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the engagement of the group. Friday is always at 10 o'clock Central. And then occasionally I'll add some in here and there. But those are the 2 that I'm being consistent with. So I thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I know the sun is shining after a couple of rainy days here this week in Milwaukee. So I am looking forward to getting outside this weekend. So take care, everyone.